Следующий выступающий представитель Италии, господин Алессандро Муссолино. Он хотел бы осветить тему роли России и Италии в свете европейской безопасности. Пожалуйста, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is with great pleasure that I am here today in this wonderful city and in a country that is close to me. A nation rich in history and culture that looks with confidence and courage in the integration process into the great family, but sometimes chaotic, of the European Union. A special thanks then to the Belgrade Forum for organizing this event. Serbia has been a bridge since many centuries between different cultures. Europe in the East, Western Europe, Northern Europe, and Mediterranean Europe. However, they are still and always have been a very musical and creative people. Thanks to the love of the arts, here born many actors, composers, sculptors, and painters. And everybody knows that we Italians are particularly sensitive to these issues. But a major contribution comes from our friends to the organization of this event, from our Russian friends. Russian is mother of one of the most important cultures of our planet, which for centuries have influenced, attracted, and formed the most important artists, writers, intellectuals all over the world. That's why the next year elections have a special meaning in the same year, because they will be in the biggest country and the biggest democracy in the world, the United States, in the largest democracy of the world, the Russian Federation, in a key Central European country, Serbia, and in some EU countries as well, such as France, but sometimes we forgot even Spain. 2012 will be a fantastic year for all those full of democracy, as it is difficult to remember in the past. There were so many elections, all in the same year and in so many important countries. The Russian elections in particular have a special meaning for us in Europe, since the process of rapprochement between Europe and Russia must be completed. It must be said, however, that if this process of rapprochement began in the early 90s, just after the collapse of the Soviet Union and communism, the impetus has come, however, with the election of Vladimir Putin. In my opinion, Mr. Putin managed to return Russia back to Europe after a period of chaos, uncertainty, that has passed in the early 90s, just after the end of the Soviet Union. Moreover, we can say that Russia has come back to Europe as an equal and concerned partner whose opinion is being considered and respected. And I know that under his administration, since I had the privilege to visit Russia a couple of times, he succeeded in bringing internal stability in the Russian society and did much to raise the well-being of the Russian people. As for the foreign policy, there are three aspects I would like to remember that distinguish the action of Vladimir Putin during his presidency and his leadership as prime minister. The first I would call is the New World. Having regained international credibility thanks to the political stability that I mentioned earlier, Mr. Putin has been a strong supporter of a multipolar policy, opposed to the US absolute supremacy that in the last period has become even something more complicated. And this perspective is extremely important for us Europeans if we want to be involved in shaping tomorrow's world. The example that Mr. Crawford made before about North Africa is just one, but I'm not pretty sure if these free movements is just the result of a free will, and it's not something that is influenced from someone else in the back. Because the social media are a very, very positive things, especially for the young people, but it's important also to have a little bit of control on how and what they do. Russia's lucky position allows her, in fact, to extend her strategies and actions in Europe, in Asia, thanks to her economic power, which derives from her energy potential. The second point I would like to say is about the role of Russia inside NATO and the G8. This could be done thanks to the passing of the old suspicions. And in this regarding, I would like to remind the cooperation agreement that someone else before me has reminded Italy in the Pratica di Mare Air Force Base in 2001, with the essential contribution of the Italian Prime Minister, Silvio Berlusconi, between NATO and the Russia Federation, and the creation of the NATO-Russia Permanent Council. It should also not be forgotten the role of Italy played in 1994, always thanks to Prime Minister Berlusconi, when Russia was invited for the first time to take part to a G7 summit. It was in Naples. And since then, the G7 summit became a G8 with the admission of Russia. I know, of course, that someone in some capitals are a little bit, let's say, envious about this relation between Italy and Russia and between the personal friendship between President Berlusconi and President Putin. But I think that these effects are positive for all the European countries, not only for Italy or Russia. The energy policy is a chapter that we should give a prominence, importance, as the major growth rates of the Russian gross domestic product are due mainly to the Russian energy exports and the rising of the oil prices. And this is also one of the main reasons, in fact, that between Europe and Russia have grown in recent years the relations of interdependence. This interdependence factor is seen often as a danger by some countries in Central and Eastern Europe that recently joined the European Union, but is seen as a geopolitical reality from countries like Germany and Italy. There is no denying that the construction of the large infrastructure systems, such as the Nord Stream in the Baltic and the South Stream in the Black Sea, is aimed at strengthening the relationship of energy interdependence with broad economic effects, but also for security for both parties. Another chapter I would like to remind is the relation that Italy and Russia have. Being Italian, I cannot overlook that many of the effects I mentioned about the cooperation between Europe and Russia have originated thanks to the role played by my country. The economic and political cooperation between our two countries today is expressed in a rich and dynamic dialogue and constant contact between the heads of the government, the ministers, and all the institutions. And the point of convergence between Russia and Italy are always increasing. I would like also to remind the realization of collaborative projects between the countries in the industrial cooperation and the investment industries. Italy is now one of the main partners, actually is the first partner of Russia, and is the second investor in the Russian Federation. In conclusion, I want once again thank you all for your attention, and I want to wish our Russian friends and the Serbian friends every success in these important elections that we will follow with close attention, with respect and with admiration. Mnogo vam hvala and большое спасибо.
This is a reference to the practice of some American Indian tribes of taking scalps as a trophy of their enemy. And European settlers also adopted this custom. The practice of scalping disappeared with our frontier, but we still use the expression to this day. If, for example, a politician is defeated in an election, or even if a notorious criminal is apprehended. We especially like to use this expression for evil foreign enemies. Obviously, the capture and execution of Saddam Hussein was a very big scalp for us. Osama bin Laden was an even bigger scalp. Some in Washington would like to get Mr. Gaddafi's scalp. In this part of the world, we have very definite preferences on scalps. Nasser Orich, for example, no, we're not interested in his scalp at all. Hashim Tachi, a man who sells all that opium, all those drugs that come from Afghanistan, maybe traffics in other people's organs. No, we don't care about his scalp either because he's our boy. In this part of the world, we are really only interested in Serbian scalps. Slobodan Milosevic obviously was the biggest one. Then we nailed up Karadzić's, and now just recently, General Ratko Mladić. Here's what Hillary Clinton had to say about that. Quote, "We commend President Tadić, the government of Serbia, its security services, and all those who have labored for years to bring Mladić to justice. We hope that Serbia's actions in arresting Mladić will help Serbia to move on, provide the opportunity to gain admission into the European Union, and enable Serbia to build a brighter future as part of a whole, free, and peaceful Europe," unquote. Here, pro-Western politicians, especially President Boris Tadic, were very quick to claim that General Mladic's arrest would be a step forward toward the Disneyland called the European Union. You see now that the evil Serbian character in the person of General Mladic has finally been scraped off. Serbia can just move on into the bright, radiant future of the real Europe, meaning the European Union. Or maybe not exactly. The American global security firm Stratfor made the following observation about the Mladic arrest, quote, "The European Union has long stipulated that Mladic's arrest is a precondition for Serbia to be considered for entry into the bloc. However, the arrest of Mladic does not resolve Europe's strategic unease with Belgrade over its stance toward Kosovo, NATO membership, and ties with Russia. And while these issues are not officially barriers to Serbian candidacy or even EU membership, many countries in the European Union will be wary of a Russian backdoor in the Balkans and will want Belgrade officially to declare where its security interests lie via NATO membership," unquote. So this is effectively what Brussels and Washington are now saying to their political partners in Belgrade, who are now the government. Thank you. Good job on Mladic, although you should have got him sooner. Welcome to the club. Well, almost, not quite. There are more hoops you have to jump through. First, there's Goran Hadžić. You have to catch him too. Secondly, you have to give up Kosovo. Thirdly, you're too friendly with the Russians. Fourthly, very important, if you want to show whose side you're really on, you have to join NATO. You really do have to choose who your true friends are. The question of whose side are you really on will be the central question in the Serbian parliamentary elections by May of 2012 and for president in January 2013. And by that, I don't mean is Serbia on America's side or on Russia's side or on Europe's side. No, I mean the question is who here in Serbia is on Serbia's side? A famous American writer once described a liberal as someone who won't take his own side in a fight. Serbia is in a fight, an urgent fight for physical, moral, and spiritual survival. And more to the point, it is a fight that is eminently winnable if Serbia had a government that was willing to fight on Serbia's behalf. The question is, can Serbia get a government that is on Serbia's side? It's hardly an academic question. General Mladic's scalp is only the latest trophy in a political campaign from Washington and Brussels that takes as its touchstone the unquestionable assumption that the Serbs alone, of all the former Yugoslav nationalities, had no legitimate interest in how the Federation came apart, and that all the wrongs and all the wars that occurred were all the Serbs' fault. A continued Western and American commitment to further reduction of the Serbian lands, first encompassing the separation of Montenegro from Serbia, and now ongoing attempts to detach Kosovo and Metohija and to strangle Republika Srpska, and yet to come Sanjak, Preševo, Vojvodina, eventually to reduce Serbia to the Pashaluk of Belgrade. And we have adopted all of the former allies of the Axis during World War II, and in particular, we sponsor all of the anti-Serbian interests in this part of the world, especially Islamic interests, which we are very pleased to try to display to the Islamic world since 9/11 to show what good friends of the Muslims we are. For this program to succeed, Serbia, maybe not a majority, but enough to pro-Western government and power, must become resigned to their cruel fate and in effect convert to their adversaries' way of thinking. A key element of this is the promotion of widespread despair about Serbia's future if they do not capitulate. This is nowhere more clearly seen than in the public lynching of Vladika Artemija of Ras in Prizren, a pillar of orthodoxy, with respect not only to Kosovo and Metohija, but to reform and ecumenism in the Serbian Orthodox Church. Cut out Serbia's heart by undermining people's confidence in the Church, the spiritual strength that carried the nation through the long centuries of persecution under the Ottoman Caliphate, then what hope of recovery can there be? In place of a patriotic program for Serbia, we see cultivation of a fawning attitude to the idol of a pro-Western Euro-Atlantic integration, including not only pro-EU, but pro-NATO. Thus, on the one hand, Serbs have an invitation placed before them by the pro-Western voices. Let Serbs forget they are Orthodox Christians or Serbs. Let them become good little godless, denationalized Europeans, as commonly understood. Let them join the aggressors who bombed them, and then they'll be considered fit company for Europe. As Secretary Clinton said, just move on. So the real question is whether the patriotic alternative has a chance in Serbia. With regard to Europe, Serbia would be well advised to stay outside of the EU, in my opinion, and negotiate a relationship with the EU as a non-member. Can anyone say that Switzerland and Norway are worse off than Greece or Portugal, or for that matter, Bulgaria or Romania? Serbia's hope of joining the EU has been called the first case where the rat wants to jump onto the sinking ship. As for NATO, Serbia would be better served by building ties with the Collective Security Treaty Organization and the Shanghai Cooperation Group. Shouldn't any country base its security arrangements on countries that support her sovereignty and territorial integrity and not those trying to violate and destroy them? With regard to the pseudo-state pretending to exist in Kosovo and Metohija, neither all of Washington's horses nor all of Brussels' men have been able to breathe life into this fraud. Still, the ruling coalition in Belgrade tries to convince Serbs that Kosovo and Metohija is already lost, and the only course is some kind of negotiation with the organ traffickers, while shunning cooperation with the global majority on Serbia's side: Russia and China, India and Pakistan, Israel and Iran, Brazil, Indonesia, Philippines, Bangladesh. You go down the list. 75% of the world is on Serbia's side, yet they try to convince you that Kosovo is a settled issue when everybody knows it is not. Instead of socializing with the killers like Tačić, like Hashim Tači and Čeku and people like this, a patriotic government in Belgrade would give active priority to seeking which will be the first government to de-recognize Kosovo. Finally, 2 short words about Russia and America, which will also be holding elections next year. In one sense, while the specifics are different, the choice for the American and Russian people boil down to the same question: who is on our side? In Russia, there's much speculation about Mr. Putin's likelihood of reclaiming the presidency and whether Mr. Medvedev will also be a candidate. Of course, we will see, but I think it's safe to say that whoever is elected will continue to move Russia to recovery of its status as a respectable regional power, pursuing its limited and legitimate national interests, and as a linchpin member of the rising powers with China, India, Brazil, and others. Serious challenges remain, of course, notably in the areas of corruption, a further heating up of the jihad insurgency in the Caucasus, and demography, which remains Russia's Achilles heel. Most observers expect that Mr. Putin will be in a position to retake the presidency in 2012. While that prospect is unwelcome to those who were happy with the Russia of the 1990s, it will be and should be applauded by those in Europe and the U.S. who understand the importance of Russia as an essential international partner. For America, and even more for Europe, what is needed from Russia is reliability, stability, and continuity, especially in the areas of energy supply and security cooperation. Those are the qualities Mr. Putin first brought to the presidency and which continued under Mr. Medvedev, and of which we can be sure if Mr. Putin returns to his former office. In America, I'm afraid we have less reason for optimism. I am a Republican, but many of my Democratic friends are close to despair that in terms of the issues that got Mr. Obama elected, notably our imperial overstretch and seemingly endless wars, he is hardly any different from Mr. Bush. We, unfortunately, are saddled with a duopoly of the Republican and Democratic parties that are in the pocket of a transnational corporate and financial elite whose profits are tied directly to the imperial enterprise and to the trade, immigration, and fiscal policies connected to it that are destroying the middle class, which is the backbone of our country. For us, I'm sorry to say, I think things will only get worse, but policies will change until we reach the point where the Soviet Union was in 1991. For those thinking of the futures of our children and grandchildren, it's not a pleasant thought. But who cares, as long as we Americans still have the satisfaction of nailing other people's scalps to the wall, for a little while anyway. Thank you.
Большое спасибо, господин Джатрос, за ваш такой эмоциональный доклад. Я думаю, что все его оценили. И в завершение нашего списка выступающих хотелось бы предоставить слово для очень краткого выступления господину Драгону Петровичу из Института международной политики и хозяйства. Пожалуйста.
Svima hvala. Ja ću nekoliko minuta izneti analizu francuskih izbora, pre svega u odnosu na datu temu. Dakle, 2012. godine, iskoristit ću neka zapažanja iz moje knjige Dva veka francusko-srpskih odnosa od 1800. do današnjih dana, koji su vezani za ovu temu. Dakle, Francuska se kao jedna od najvažnijih evropskih država, pre svega u samoj Evropskoj uniji, nalazi pred parlamentarnim i predsjedničkim izborima u prvoj polovini 2012. godine. Manje više postoji konsenzus da je od stvaranja pete republike, dakle od 1958. što se može vezati za de Gaulle i one promene koje su tada nastale i još uvek važeći ustav, konstituisala jedna politika pete republike, dakle Francuske, kako u odnosu na podelu, hladnoratovsku podelu, dakle, Evrope i sveta do kraja 80. godina, uz one modifikacije preko Mitterana i posle Širaka koje su zaživele u sledećem periodu. To je bila jedna, dakle, prepoznatljiva politika traženja identiteta Francuske, koja kao velika sila, još uvek svetska sila, a ja ću nabrojati parametre moći Francuske koji je diferenciraju od drugih regionalnih pa i evropskih sila, čak i u odnosu na Nemačku, a koji Francusku čine svetskom silom. To je stalno mesto u Savetu bezbednosti. Drugo, to je samostalno nuklearno oružje, počesi od 1960. godine. To je prerastanje francuskog kolonijalnog carstva u francusku frankofonsku zajednicu po ustavu iz 1958. godine, koja uz demokratske postulate pretpostavlja dobrovoljnu saradnju na bazi kulture, ali i drugih aspekata bivših francuskih kolonija, gde su najviše od njih i dalje uključeni. Sa ta tri faktora, dakle, Francuska kao nuklearna sila sa samostalnim nuklearnim oružjem i sa određenim kulturno-političkim uticajem u frankofonskim državama, predstavlja subjekat, a to je de Gaulle definisao, a prihvatilo i posle njega svi predsjednici Pete republike do današnjih dana, da Francuska ne sme bipolarnu podelu sveta da dočeka na jednoj od strana, zbog ideološke podele na zapadnoj strani, gde bi anglosaksonske sile, tako je govorio de Gaulle, a i pre njega predstavnici francuske politike na levici i neki drugi, kao što su Guy Mollet i neki drugi, dakle da bude taoc i u toj diferencijaciji sveta bipolarnoj, da ona bude na zapadnoj strani, taoc angloameričke hegemonije, koja bi iskoristila bipolarnu podelu sveta i nametnula zapadnom delu, dakle, tadašnjeg sveta, svoju dominaciju. Francuska to nije želela na osnovu svoje istorije, na osnovu svoje snage. Treba podsjetiti da je ona teritorijalno veća, što je vrlo interesantno i tačno, od Velike Britanije i Italije zajedno. Znači, 550.000 kvadratnih kilometara. Velika Britanija, sve sa Irskom, Škotskom, ima 247.000, a Italija ima oko 300 i zaista sa tim činiocima, kao jedna atlantska zemlja, kao jedna mediteranska zemlja, sa svim tim uticajem, ona je zasnovala sopstvenu samostalnu politiku. Moram da kažem da je posle izbora 2007. godine, uz sve modifikacije koje su postojale u francuskoj politici, kod svih naslednika u polupredsjedničkom sistemu koji ima Francuska, dakle i kod Georgesa Pompidua i Destena i kod Mitterana i kod Širaka, nigde nije došao do tako krupnih odstupanja od tih postulata samostalne politike kao kod Nikole Sarkozija. Ja se ovde ne bih vraćao na način kako je Nikola Sarkozy pobedio 2007. On je pre svega nominovan u okviru sopstvene stranke uz velike turbulencije. On je imao rivala u Dominiku de Villepenu, koji je imao potpuno druge geopolitičke stavove i mi znamo da onog trenutka kada je Sarkozy nominovan za predstavnika predsjedničkog svoje stranke, dakle u degaullističkoj stranci, januara 2007. da se moglo sa velikom sigurnošću prognozirati da će pobediti i Ségolène Royal u maju mesecu. Sada ja da ubrzam u par minuta kakva je sada situacija, ali moramo da imamo u vidu bilans Sarkozija za ove 4 godine. Sarkozy jeste zadržao određen balans u spoljnoj politici Francuske. Dakle, pored toga što se on vezao za NATO, a de Gaulle je izvukao Francusku iz potpunog članstva NATO-a još 66. godine, a to je nagovestio mnogo ranije. Tu politiku su zastupali i socijalisti u Četvrtoj republici, pre svega Gimole i neki drugi. Dakle, vraćanje Francuske u NATO je krupan izuzetak i bez obzira što je Sarkozy činio druge geopolitičke poteze koji su pružali ruku pre svega Rusiji, setimo se njegove izjave koja je izazvala veliku pažnju u svetu u septembru 2008. da Evropska unija i Rusija treba da formiraju zajednički ekonomski prostor. I krahom neoliberalnog svetskog ekonomskog sistema, pogođena Sjedinjene Američke Države i delimično Velika Britanija sa padom pre svega meke moći, jer je Vašingtonski konsenzus i neoliberalna ekonomija bili jedni od najjačih elemenata američke meke moći u međunarodnim odnosima. To se srušilo, svet ide ka multipolarizmu, a Sarkozy, a ja bih samo dodao u jednoj reči, začuđujuće i vlada Srbije, idu ka tešnjem vezivanju uz anglosaksonske sile. Sad, samo da kažem u dve rečenice prognoze za izbore u 2012. godini. Sarkozy se nalazi u dosta teškoj situaciji. On je nominovan od šefa stranke gospodina Kopea za predsjedničkog kandidata i on će pokušati da zadrži drugi predsjednički mandat. Levica je tradicionalno najveći protivnik, imali smo sad slučaj sa Dominikom Strauss-Kahnom kao najperspektivnijim predsjedničkim kandidatom Levice. Da li će on ostati, da li će to biti Ségolène Royal koja je najavila samostalnu kandidaturu u okviru svoje stranke do početka sledeće godine ili će možda Madame Orbi kao šef stranke takođe se eventualno kandidovati, mi ne znamo, ali koji god da bude predstavnik Levice, on će biti opasan protivnik Sarkoziju. I završavam. Moguće je da će Marine Le Pen, harizmatski novi lider Narodnog fronta, koji po istraživanjima javnog mnijenja je u samom vrhu predsjedničkog kandidata i njena stranka, biti ta koja će ući u drugi krug. Kogod od njih da uđe u drugi krug, imaće maksimalnu podršku čitave opozicije. Dakle, da rezimiram, Sarkozijeva Francuska, odnosno njegova politika, je znatno umekšala evidentni pad američkog uticaja i moći na evropskom kontinentu i nije se odrazila ta promena, dakle, slabljenja anglo-američke moći na politiku Evropske unije, što važi i za srpski prostor. Zašto? Zato što je on čovek koji najviše odgovara američkim interesima u zadnjih 50 i nešto godina. Sada se nalazi u situaciji da izgubi izbore. A da ne govorimo o parlamentarnim izborima, ne zaboravimo ovde i predstavnika centrista François Bayrou, vrlo jednog kvalitetnog političara sa ogromnim uticajem u Francuskoj. Da ne kažem da je Dominique de Villepin najavio svoju frakciju i samostalnu kandidaturu. Dakle, ako Sarkozy ne zadrži mesto predsjednika, onda će doći do krupnijih izmena, ne samo u odnosu snaga na evropskom kontinentu, nego i u kreiranju politike Evropske unije, koja će verovatno postati, u slučaju te promene, više prihvatljiva za ruske partnere, a i mi ovde na Balkanu, pre svega Srbiji, ćemo ponovo osetiti da je Francuska tradicionalno najnaklonjenija od zapadnih sila prema srpskom faktoru. Hvala najviše.
Спасибо, господин Петрович. Я сейчас что хочу предложить. Сейчас мы завершим наше пленарное заседание и пойдем обедать, потому что я думаю, сейчас уже самое время нам немножко передохнуть. Я предлагаю, если какие-то есть комментарии, вопросы по нынешнему обсуждению, перенести это на конец третьего пленарного заседания, тем более, что там будет немного меньше докладчиков, и, видимо, у нас появится возможность поговорить и на эти темы, которые мы сейчас обсуждали. Поэтому сейчас я всех приглашаю в ресторан на обед здесь, в Сава-центре, и собираемся здесь ровно через час. И еще одна вещь. Всех выступающих просьба передать в письменном виде свои доклады в президиум, потому что мы, видимо, будем составлять какой-то сборник по итогам конференции. Спасибо. Но мы с ним очень хорошо знакомы, он нам прислал свое выступление, и от его имени выступит господин Воробьев. И, возможно, ответит на какие-то вопросы, если будут. Поэтому сейчас... Да, конечно. Поэтому мы договорились, что третью сессию будет вести господин Драгутин Матанович, это советник первого вице-премьера Сербии. Он же выступит с первым докладом, поэтому я с удовольствием уступаю ему место и отдаю бразды правления. Напоминаю вам о необходимости придерживаться установленного регламента в 10 минут на доклады, и потом мы уже будем обсуждать. Спасибо. Пожалуйста, господин Антонович. Есть. Так, как идет.